Well, in an era when it is increasingly hard to be shocked by events in the world, Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi's decision, or his decree gathering powers unto himself last week, had to rank as a stunner, and nobody seemed more stunned by it than the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton's State Department. Here to talk about that with me is Wall Street Journal editorial page editor Paul Gigot.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Paul. The Morsi decrees certainly took the world. The administration, the Obama administration, still seems back on its heels. They really have not reacted to it yet in any sort of coherent way.
Well, first of all, it was fascinating the way it happened because Secretary of State Clinton had barely left Egyptian airspace after negotiating the Gaza truce ceasefire that Morsi declared made his decree, and apparently the Secretary of State had no knowledge of it. So he didn't even say, by the way, this is going to be coming down. Hope you understand, try to explain it, why we're doing this. So that was number one. Number two, it really must have shocked them because on background, the administration officials had been telling everybody in the press how wonderful Morsi had been as a negotiator on the truce,
right,
and how he had been responsible, a statesman, et cetera, et cetera.
A moderate.
Yeah, a moderate, somebody who can do business with. So boom, he hits them with this, which is clearly a problem.
Yeah, well, the thing about the decree, which essentially sets aside or eliminates judicial review of his decisions, is so much a contradiction of the underlying idea of the Arab Spring, which was that democracy, more participation in the life of these countries.
In theory.
In theory. And that was the theory. And once again, the Obama administration seems to be on the sidelines of events in the Middle East and clueless about what direction it might be taking. I mean, this was kind of the origins of the Arab Spring, when they had no idea that these sorts of things were going to happen.
Well, I think they have been essentially on their back heels. I mean, they don't know what events are going to, the turnout of events in a lot of these places. Remember when Saudi Arabia sent in tanks in Bahrain to put down the demonstrators? The Saudis didn't bother to tell the administration that that was coming. So there's an awful lot that they don't know about, and I think that it's another signal, another sign, more evidence of waning U.S. influence in the Middle East. It's fascinating to listen to the administration and its response to this. The State Department issued, through a spokeswoman, not through the Secretary of State, a very tepid response saying, look, we have concerns, the world has concerns, we want to have checks and balances, and they should respect other points of view, but very tepid by any normal diplomatic discourse. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's possible for folks like us to sit here and talk about and discuss the Obama administration's lack of influence in the Middle East, but there is a point beyond which you start to pay material prices for that lack of influence, and that thing that keeps coming to my mind is the Iranian nuclear program and its relationship to whether the Israelis sit by and let this happen. Yeah. That's the biggest issue in the Middle East.
It is.
And at what point does the American influence there become irrelevant to events in the Middle East?
Well, I think that's the acid test. If we aren't willing to find a way to stop that, act in a way to stop that, then I think our influence is going to recede even more. But it's interesting, the administration, I think, in Egypt is going to face a choice, and that is, are they willing to speak up about domestic events and the gradual Islamicization of Egypt if this happens, and speak up against it? Or are they going to say, you know what, we're going to just have to let that go and hope that we can do business with Morsi on regional events and with Egypt, or with Israel and Gaza and the broader region, including Iran, and we're just going to let what happens domestically in Egypt happen?
Yeah, well, that would be kind of a dire thing to ponder.
But that's where I think they go.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Paul.